Hello! In today's lesson, we're going to learn about inequalities. You've already compared numbers before and thus called it an inequality. For example, a 5 is greater than 2, or 1,013 less than 1,021. And you know how to compare these numbers, but in math, there's another kind of inequality that involves a variable. For example, if I write down the following inequality and is greater than 2, what would that mean in math? First of all, it is an inequality. Why? Because we're comparing two expressions. Even though we have a variable on the left-hand side and a number on the right-hand side, this expression is called an inequality. So, inequalities in math are expressions that are related to the following signs. It is the sign for less than, the sign more. We say, when we use the less sign, that some number A is less than some number B. But if we talk about the greater sign, we say that some number C is greater than number D. But in addition to these signs, there are also non-strict signs in math. The signs for less and more are called strict signs, and then there are non-strict signs. So if I write down that A is greater than or equal to B, or C is less than or equal to D, then these inequalities would be called non-strict inequalities. Why non-strict? Well, in the part where we apply the less than more signs, we're talking about considering numbers that are strictly less than or strictly greater than. But if I'm talking about inequalities that have non-strict signs, let's say A is greater than or equal to B, then I can consider numbers that are equal to each other. And then those non-strict inequalities can turn into equals. Now we're going to turn to our example. We have the inequality A is greater than 2. Now let's show what this inequality stands for. To do this, we're going to use a coordinate line. On the coordinate line, I'm going to mark a point with a coordinate equal to 2. This is the point that represents the coordinate that equals 2. But I need to show all the numbers that are greater than 2. The numbers greater than 2 are located to the right of the point with a coordinate of 2. So the solution to this inequality is all the numbers that lie on the coordinate line and are to the right of the number 2. To the right of the number 2, we can write the number 3. 3 is greater than 2, that's right. 4 is greater than 2. 10 is greater than 2. 100 is greater than 2, and so on. We will not be able to name the largest number that is greater than 2. That's why in math, the solution to this inequality is represented on a coordinate line. I can write down this notation A is greater than 2 in a different form. If you write with sign of inequalities more or less, more is equal to or less is equal to. In this case, it is said that you have written down the answer in the form of a numerical inequality. But this answer can be shown on a coordinate line, as we did. Or it can be written as an interval. And that's what we're going to learn how to do now. If I say that the solution to this inequality is all the numbers that are to the right of 2, then we can write the solution in the following form as an interval. When we write as an interval, we always write the solution and move from left to right. from the smaller number to the larger number. If I look at this coordinate line, we can see that the solution starts at point 2. And the largest number is plus infinity. So we're going to write this answer as a parenthesis from 2 to plus infinity. Now you'll notice that it's very important to label the points correctly. If you have a strict inequality, then the point on the coordinate line will be empty. And if I write the inequality A is greater than or equal to 2, then on the coordinate line, the point with a coordinate equal to 2, I'll fill it in. And the result is a full point. The solution to this inequality will be the number line and all points to the right of point 2. But what is the difference? Well, the solution to this inequality is also the point A. So, if I write it down as an interval, I'll write from 2. Notice the bracket is square to plus infinity. So if you see the sign is not strict, greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, then in this case on the coordinate line, leave a painted point. Let's look at 2 more examples. If I have the inequality A is less than the number 5, then on the coordinate line, I find a point with a coordinate equal to 5. And if I need to show those numbers that are less than 5, then I will move to the left of the point of 5. And then all the points to the left of the point 5 will be the solution to our inequality. Well, but in order to write this solution as an interval, we will also move from left to right. And we can see that we have a solution on the left. But the smallest number we don't have. That's why I'm writing that the solution to this inequality is the interval from minus infinity to 5. And the parentheses will be round. But if we consider the inequality A is less than or equal to 5, then on the coordinate line we will mark the point 5 and color this point. And in the answer the parenthesis will be square. But notice that plus infinity and minus infinity will always be written with a parenthesis. In the next lesson, we're going to learn the rules that apply when working with inequalities. For today, our lesson has come to an end. Goodbye. See you again.